All right, man, peace. So as we all know by now, Kevin Durant, he got himself in quite a bit of hot water, getting stuck in that social media vortex, worrying about the opinions of imaginary people. Let's see what Skip and Shannon have to say about this.
Yesterday, Kevin Durant admitted to sending tweets that bashed his former coach Billy Donovan and the roster he left in OKC. Durant tweeted from his own account, but also in third person, which led many to speculate that Durant thought he was tweeting from a different account. Let's take a listen to Durant yesterday.
I use Twitter to engage with the fans. I think it's a great way to engage with, basketball fans. But I happen to take it a little too far.
I think that when you get to a certain level of understanding, you have to make a distinction between the mindset of a producer and the mindset of a consumer. That's why they say if you spend too much time listening to the fans, you're going to end up sitting with the fans. It's okay to engage with the basketball fans every once in a while, keeping it brief. But Kevin Durant has to understand that he's not just a basketball fan. He's a producer. He can go back to being a regular basketball fan once he retires. What do I mean by he's a producer? Meaning he's on the court. He's creating the energy. All right. He's creating the memories, the happy times. Right now there's some kid 10, 11, 12 years old who 20 years from now, there's no way in the world that you're going to be able to tell him that Larry Bird was better than Kevin Durant. You won't be able to tell him that because of the memories that Kevin Durant is producing right now for that child. So he has to understand that and not get caught playing in the mud with the swine, for lack of a better term. No disrespect, but he has to understand the difference.
And that's what happens sometimes when I get into these basketball debates or, what I really love is just to play basketball. I went a little too far. And I don't regret clapping back at anybody or talking to my fans on Twitter. I do regret using my former coach's name and the former organization that I played for. That was childish. That was idiotic. All those type of words. I regret doing that, and I apologize to him for doing that. But I don't think I'll ever stop engaging with my fans. I think they...
Well, let me say this. It's not that you regret using his name. You regret getting caught using a fake account. It's like people say, I made a mistake. No, a mistake is when you bump into somebody. A mistake is when you step on somebody's toe. A mistake is when you make the wrong turn, when you've never been in a certain area before. Those are mistakes. Mistakes are not when you create a fake account so that you can dispense your own version of why you did what you did. And then you get caught and then you apologize. You can apologize for the sake of showing that that you have empathy for the people that you may have offended, but don't apologize in the spirit of saying that you made a mistake, because you did not make a mistake.
Really enjoy it, and I think it's a good way to connect us all. But I'll scale back a little bit right now and just focus on playing basketball.
That's good. That means lesson learned. He never should have been on Twitter to that degree anyway. He never should have been making as many statements as he's been making all off season. All right. Sometimes if you don't understand or acknowledge what your role is in the scheme of things, certain events will transpire or rise that will make you understand. Okay, there's a difference between me and that person. It doesn't mean that that your life is more valuable than a basketball fan's life, but there does have to be a distinction. Just like in the workplace, there's certain things that a manager or a director should not be doing with their staff. There's certain things that a teacher should not be doing with their student. There's certain things that a player should not be doing with fans. Too much interaction is one of them. Fans are emotionally unstable by nature. That's why they're called fans, short for fanatic. Kevin Durant is a producer. His job is to concentrate on being able to produce on the court. That's what it's all about. It's not about going back and forth with with Raheem from Oakland or with Jeb from Oklahoma City. Those people are not relevant in the long run.
Durant also said, no, there's no different account.
Bullshit. You was talking in third person.
That was just me being a total bleeping idiot. I own up to it. I want to move on from it. It was a joke to me at first. I was doing it all summer, and when I went too deep, I went too hard. I haven't slept in 2 days, 2 nights. I haven't ate.
See, he's a very emotionally and mentally fragile dude. When you have those type of when you have that type of mentality, that type of fragility, he should not get involved in certain things. Twitter and a lot of these other social media outlets, it's not for people who will go 2 days without sleeping if they get caught doing something shady. He should just chill. Like, I don't understand this guy. He's all day on Twitter. He should be on the court. He got access to every woman that he wants. He got access to any restaurant that he wants, any court that he wants. Why is he going back and forth with some clown?
It's crazy because I feel so bleeping pissed at myself, and I'm mad that I brought someone into it. Shannon, do you like that Durant admitted this?
Hell no. I took that one to my grave, Joey.
Word up, Shannon. I agree, man. Some things you should just chill out on. But you know what? He pretty much had to state what he did because he got caught red-handed. And who knows how many fake accounts this dude might have. I mean, I don't understand why you have time to be on one Twitter account, much less multiple. You're Kevin Durant. You're supposed to have somebody answering your Twitter for you.
I'm never telling that. And he needs to eat, Skip. I mean, Kevin Durant. I mean, that dude's so skinny, he can look through a keyhole with both eyes. But you know what?
Yo, Shannon's stupid.
You know what? That's the strongest, skinniest dude you'll ever see.
Skip. I hope Kevin can let this go. Kevin, you won. Kevin, you were right. Why does it hurt him so much? Does he want, you know what? I'm going to do it for you. I'm going to do what Sam Prest did. What's the owner? Clay? What's the owner of the OKC Thunder?
Oh, Clay Bennett?
Clay Bennett.
Yeah.
I'm Sam Presti, I'm Clay Bennett.
Yeah.
KD, we were wrong. We should have held you in higher regards. We should have put you as 1, and Russell should have been 1A.
That's not what he wants, though, Shannon. He doesn't want an apology from them. It's like anything else. When somebody is frustrated with a previous situation, whether it's romantic, the workplace, any situation, any relationship situation where they feel embittered by how things transpired, he doesn't really even want an explanation. He doesn't want an apology from them. He wants to decimate them. Okay? He wants to decimate them until he feels like that feeling has been extinguished or exhausted, I should say, and then he might want to go back. Right? I mean, how many times in life have you had a friend or a relative who always is complaining about someone that they're in a relationship with, and the relationship doesn't work out, and they're always, railing about them and going on and on and on, and then they end up back together? This is why I said don't be surprised if you end up seeing KD go back to Oakland, especially if they win the championship again this year. Wouldn't shock me. But, right now it looks like, in lieu of the Carmelo Anthony trade, that they won't have any room for him there. So he needs to emotionally move forward with his life. Like anybody else who's holding on to an old flame, they say everything, the reason why the Lord has eyes configured to look forward is because you're not supposed to worry about what's behind you. You can't worry about old shit. There's a reason why things got left behind. They couldn't fit in your vehicle. Leave it alone.
We were wrong, Kevin. We apologize. Can you accept our apology? Skip, why does it... You're the finals MVP. You average 30 every game.
Well, you really can't average 30 every game. You got to average 30 for the series, Shannon.
You proved the decision that you made was right. Why must you continuously bring OKC back into this mess?
Because OKC was his first love, Shannon. That was his first love. That's like a woman always will remember who took her virginity. Right? That's part of the programming of the woman. She'll always remember who took her virginity. All right? She ain't going to remember, with these modern day women, they ain't going to remember the 57 guys after that, but they'll remember that first guy. Same thing with Kevin Durant. He was in OKC OKC, well, really Seattle to start off. OKC is where he came into the NBA, and that's where he, grew into manhood. He allowed himself to buy into the NBA programming of a player being linked to a city intrinsically. He went and he immersed himself in that community. He opened up businesses, restaurants, etc. He was loved in that community. I remember when they had, I believe it was it some type of tornado or something that totally destroyed a lot of Oklahoma City, and he donated $1 million to the people who were affected by that catastrophe. Kevin Durant has done a lot, or did a lot, to ingratiate himself with that city, and when he left, he knew he was hurt, and he knew that he was going to hurt the people that were from that city, because once again he allowed himself to buy into the the propaganda that an athlete is intrinsically linked to the city that he gets drafted by, as opposed to just understanding that he's there as an asset of the business known as the NBA.
You left. Why you left? We knew the reason why you would tell it wasn't on the up and up. But why? And then you're going to talk about,
Well, shit, Shannon, same reason why you went back to the Broncos after you was in Baltimore for a couple years.
Billy, why would you bring Billy Donovan into this? Skip, and he said this tweet was childish because Kevin's childish.
I agree. But that's due to how he was raised, mixed in with his natural personality. All right, he's just a big boy. That's what he is. He's a big boy. He's not a man yet. Hopefully he'll grow into that. He's 28 years old, so he should have been a man already. But in this society, maturation is retarded. Right? It is heavily retarded based off of the environment that people are raised in and how they're raised.
You see, Skip, when you think there are no repercussions for your actions, you will be as honest as you possibly can. Now, I don't know if he was home, because you remember, Skip, Donald Sterling, when he was in his home, he didn't know he was being recorded. Yeah. He spoke freely. He spoke honestly. Yes,
because he was there with that MK Ultra sex kitten. What was that chick named? Stiviano? The transgender that he was with there. She was a plant. She was sent in there to set him up. That whole thing was a ritual anyway. Donald Sterling and Adam Silver. That was the event that they used to create that energy around Adam Silver as being the super progressive NBA commissioner, that he was going to be disparate from David Stern. All right, Sterling Silver. That's how it works. But Donald Sterling, he didn't mind playing the fall guy. He didn't mind playing the heel in that whole scenario, because he was able to cash out on the Clippers for probably 10 times the amount that people would have thought that he could have got for. I mean, what did he get? Like 2.5 billion, 3 billion, some crazy number like that. I believe that's the most a franchise had ever been sold for up to that point, if I remember correctly. All right, and I believe that the actual net worth of the Clippers at that time was not even $1 billion. So that whole situation actually helped Donald Sterling. So, and people think that Donald Sterling got demonized. He really didn't. But that whole thing was a setup. Stiviano, she was a plant. All right. A lot of these females, what cats call internet thoughts that you see always popping up around these same celebrities and athletes and etc. They are there to be concubines. Okay. They're sent out to be concubines, and they're also sent out for intel. But that's neither here nor there.
Give you another example. Mel Gibson, when he was going through it, his girlfriend taped him. He was speaking openly and honestly.
That shit was the funniest thing ever. Mel Gibson, yo, that man put the H in ham. That man went totally ham on that chick phone. I hope you get raped by a pack of niggers. Oh man, what the hell did Danny Glover think hearing that shit?
Kevin Durant got behind that keyboard and he didn't think people knew it was him. He was speaking honest. That's how he felt about it.
Okay, but help me out. I just want to get this part straight, and then you can go on. But how did he not think? What if he didn't have a have a fake account. What was he doing?
I
to go third person in your
own
your
account.
big account, your verified
He
account.
thought he was.
What are you talking about?
Skip,
I'm not buying that part of it.
Exactly. He thought he
It
was.
doesn't add up.
No.
He thought it was anonymous, Skip. So now I can be honest. Oh, that ain't like the coach and this and yada yada.
But remember, it's third person.
Yeah.
You're saying Kevin didn't.
Yeah.
He didn't.
He. Who is he? Oh, me.
Oh, that's right. It's me.
Yeah, it's just a comedy of errors. But this is why I've been on this guy. See, like I said before to a lot of you brothers, man. A lot of brothers, maybe y'all don't quite get why I stay on certain people. It's because I could see what it's building towards. Like, you know, when I make videos about a Jamel Hill or you know, with Christine Leahy or, you know, Kevin Durant, a lot of these people that I stay on, Michael Bennett, Kaepernick, is because these are narratives that I understand are building up. All right. These are characters that get introduced into these narratives, and their storyline is going to be expanded. And I could see it. When you understand how this society works, you understand how things are going to transpire. Right? And it wasn't difficult to understand what things were going with Durant. No, I would not have predicted that something like this would have happened to him on Twitter in regards to him having a fake account, but it didn't shock me at all. It wouldn't have shocked me if something else had happened to him on Twitter in regards to a blow up, but I could tell how overly verbose he's been all off season, that his mouth was going to get him in trouble. Period. You know, he just talks too much and he doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. And when that happens, you get caught up in dumb shit.
Skip,
What?
did it hurt? You know what, Skip? As you sit back and look at this, Kevin Durant was more hurt that they didn't show him the love that they showed Russell than we previously thought. Because I believe that is the center of this.
Well, that's part of it. I believe that he was hurt that maybe Russell was given a little bit more favoritism by the upper management at OKC. But I think he was more hurt. I think it was more of a self-revelation in regards to why he was hurt. Because I think that Kevin knows that he's not a leader. And I think that he realized when OKC gave preferential treatment to Russell Westbrook, I think that he realized, like, wow, they also know that I'm not a leader. And that's what hurt him. And that's why he went to Golden State. A lot of people are having a hard time figuring out why he went to Golden State. He went to Golden State, as I've already said, because he understood that they had the framework that he can go and graft himself into where it wouldn't matter that he wasn't a good leader or did not have a strong personality. Because he wouldn't have that type of pressure on him to lead. He doesn't want to have to lead. He wants to just chill and do what he does, which is be a great basketball player. But he does not want to have to galvanize teammates and call people out and all those other things. That's just not him. All right? But it's a double-edged sword, because once other people realize that is your personality, they're going to adapt. And they see that he's not a leader. Westbrook, I don't think really is a leader either, but Westbrook has a dominant personality.
This is not about a basketball. And because he said it was a basketball decision, I want to do what's best for Kevin Durant. When all along, if you didn't want to play for Billy Donovan, say it.
Why would he say that, Shannon? You know, it's easy for people to get on TV and say, oh, well, you know, if you really feel that way, say it. This guy's a very sensitive dude. He's not going to come out on TV and say things like that, inflammatory things directly about a coach, and have to deal with the backlash. He cannot deal with that type of vitriol. He just can't. And most players can. How many players in history have said, great players in history have said, I can't play for this coach? It's rare. Now, we know in hindsight that Michael Jordan had problems with Doug Collins, but I mean, he never came out and stated explicitly in regards to him saying, I hate him or I hated him. No, Magic Johnson with Paul Westhead and even Larry Bird with Casey Jones, so on and so forth. I mean, we all know in hindsight that these players got guys fired, but guys don't come out and talk about their coach like that. That's not good for business. That's not good for their brand. It shows that you don't respect order. It shows that you're insubordinate. No, that's not an image that you want to have out there when you're trying to sell things, whether it be shoes or other products or apparel. So, I mean, come on. We all know he's not going to do that. It's just silly for Shannon to even say that.
Don't hide behind your computer screen. Be upfront. If you want to be totally honest, you know, I hate that I brought my old coach. I don't hate that I said that. I just hate that I brought his name up in this, and now he gets swept up in my mess.
No, he doesn't hate that the guy gets swept up in his mess. He hates that he got caught using a fake account. That's all he hates. He doesn't hate mentioning Billy Donovan's name. Because if he didn't want to mention his name, he wouldn't have mentioned it. He hate that he got caught.
Yes. Kevin, you're in Golden State. You're about to move to $1 billion you're about to move into a $1 billion building. You're at Silicon Valley because you want to be close because you really, well, you need to work on your tech.
Well, he said Silicon Valley. I thought he was talking about Joy Taylor.
Your tech game, because you like me, because you don't really know what you got going on. You got all these accounts. But Skip.
I think he owns half of this tech company.
Skip.
So I think he's doing okay, but
is he that hurt that they showed Russell that kind of attention?
yes.
And not him.
Yes.
That he will continuously
Yes.
drag Russell and OKC.
He's that hurt, but you don't need.
I don't think that he's purposefully dragging them into anything. I think that that he's getting caught up in that social media shit. And you got to understand something, man. These people on social media, they get a thrill out of getting somebody like his attention. I know that for a fact because all I have is a little YouTube channel, and there's certain guys who get caught up in what I call YouTube hoism, who get a thrill out of me responding to them. You know what I'm saying? It's a phenomenon that I've noticed, even with this little channel. So he has to understand that mentally. And, it's okay to interact with people, but you have to know when to cut shit off. All right? It's like when you have a quote-unquote platonic relationship with someone. If they step over their bounds, then you got to put them back in their place. That's just how it is. Problem is, once again, he does not know how to administer. He does not know how to lead. If he knew how to lead, he would know when and how to cut people off and put them in their place.
Don't need to keep dredging.
Right, Skip. You're the reigning Finals MVP. If you want to debate who's better, me or LeBron, who's better, me or James Harden, who's better, me or Anthony Davis, okay.
Yep.
I can debate that with you all day. But I'm not dragging my former team into this. I've moved on. You got a $300 million shoe deal. If you signed a new contract, you gave $10 million back because you wanted to bring all the players back and you wanted to try to do this thing again. And for you in your off time to bring OKC and Russell back into your mess, KD, let it go, bro.
You know what, though, Shannon? It was good for him, though. He needed something like this so that he can grow a little bit. He's been talking too much all off-season about various topics that he knows and understands very little to nothing about. So this was the Most High's way of just giving him a little pat on his backside. A little slap on his backside to humble him a little bit and let him fall back and get his mind, back properly calibrated to what it needs to be calibrated on, which is basketball. That's what he's gifted in. That's what he's good at. This is the problem when we have a society where people are actually concerned with what an athlete thinks about various topics, and it's really not relevant in the grand scheme of things. But once again, this is what happens, and this is going to be a major theme for the next few years, as these athletes continue to speak about things that they really don't have the mental grasp or capacity to to really delve deeply into and explain properly.
Let it go.
Okay, so we have that issue of letting that go, which I'm with you on. But then we have a whole bigger issue that you're just going to have to help me with because you fall into the same trap. Mm-hmm. You like to respond to Joe Nobodies on Twitter.
I do.
You will just see something and say, that's wrong.
Yeah.
You're wrong. And you'll fire right back at Joe Nobody. You have no idea who he or she might be, right?
Yeah, because Shannon Sharp is also caught up in the liberal media vortex, the online social media liberal bullshit vortex. That's why he comes on TV every day to impress that crowd, the woke crowd. The everybody is a coon if they don't agree with me crowd. Those people. That's who Shannon is on TV trying to impress. Shannon is another guy, has no end game. When you really hear him speak, all he talks about is how being black is a curse and how there's no equality, i.e., white man, why won't you give me a hug?
Right?
No.
You have no idea what their resume is, where they're typing from, who they are. If you could see who they were and know who they are or are not, I'm not sure you would do it. But you see what they type, and Shannon Sharp Pro Football Hall of Famer says, I'm going to stamp that out. I'm going to set him straight.
You know what?
Right?
KD and I are like this in a lot of ways because
Yeah, y'all are both sensitive and mentally fragile. You about your race, him about his accomplishments. All right, you about your so-called race, I should say.
when you take the Hall of Fame, you take the Super Bowls away, and I'm not on the show with Skip Bayless, I'm like a lot of those people that responding to, and I'm not so sure that I wouldn't be trying to reach out and try to get responses from celebs also.
Okay, but
in other words, once again, you're confirming that you have self-esteem issues. Look, I'm sorry. I have no interest in corresponding with a celebrity. All right. Living here in New York, you travel through different boroughs. A lot of times, if you in Manhattan, Midtown, or the southern part of Manhattan, you see different celebrities. I've seen many. Never ever been interested in walking up and introducing myself or trying to get an autograph. I got 2 feet and 2 hands and a brain just like you. I respect what you do. You're gifted in your craft, whether it be music or acting or what have you. Much respect. Have a great day.
The more critical they are of the celeb, the more likely that celeb is of firing back. So you keep empowering them. You keep encouraging them to be more and more negative on your timeline, because if they see it, they might actually recognize you.
Well,
right?
Skip, I got no problem with him firing back. The problem that I have is that he's bringing other people into his mix.
Well,
No, the real problem is that he's so insecure about his ability to volley back or to respond back or retort to people who are aiming these allegations at him that he has to concoct fake personas on the internet. All right. That's what I call getting caught in the social media vortex. That's when you're going back and forth with somebody way too much. It's like I tell these dudes who come on my channel trying to go back and forth with me, look, brother, you probably need to find another channel. It's not a pro-black channel. This is not a gender war channel. This is not a liberal black channel. This is not an arguing back and forth for 50 comments. I'm not finna be here going back and forth. On my phone, I get all type of emails every day for various issues, not just from YouTube. And I can't be going back and forth on my damn phone. My phone getting hot, responding back to Joe Schmo idiot who wants to argue all damn day.
okay, but that's a whole nother deal. I got it. You're right. I'm with you on that part.
Yes.
But this is the part I can't come to grips with, because if you want to do some kind of a chat session where you make it clear from the start, for the next hour, I'm going to clap back, as Kevin says. I'm going to clap back at all of you. So fire away, and I will fire back.
Right.
At least you're on your toes, so to speak. You're ready to go, and maybe you get yourself in the right mood of, let's not take this too seriously.
But
here.
that's fake.
Let's
That's
just
not
make it.
authentic.
No, but I mean, you have to calm yourself down. You have to get yourself in the right head to say, okay, I'll make it a little trash talky, but I'm not going to go over the edge
Right,
here.
keep it above the belt.
Yeah, and if somebody really hits the wrong button inside me, maybe I need to say, don't hit send on
Right.
that one.
Or don't
Just-
answer that question.
Yeah, because don't answer that one, because you need to sleep on it. Maybe you can answer it another
Right.
time, but don't
Right.
answer it. Don't let your emotions take you right over the edge.
Right, but then it wouldn't be Kevin Durant because he's an emotional dude. That's why I say, you have to do a self-evaluation sometimes. You have to check yourself out. You have to see, what are your personality strengths? What are your personality weaknesses? What are things that you tolerate? What are things that you don't tolerate? We all have to do that so that you put yourself in a better position to live your life. All right? This is why he's saying he hadn't slept and ate for 2 days and all the other silly shit. Why is he saying that? Because he went and he put himself in a situation that is not conducive to or agreeable with his natural personality.
Edge into hitting send, right?
Correct.
Because most Twitter disasters I have watched happened when somebody is sitting at his or her keyboard firing back. They're responding on the fly to Joe Nobody, somewhere, somebody.
Right.
I like that name, Joe Nobody.
Right.
And they're doing it instantaneously without sitting back just for a second. Like I got my 24-hour rule. When I really get upset about something, I say, I'm going to give it 24 hours. And if I wake up tomorrow and I feel the same way, I'm going to clap back.
Right.
Not on.
Go ahead, Skip. I'm going to clap back. Holler at me.
not on Twitter, but just wherever.
Maybe a topic.
Yeah. And then I'm going to fire back.
Correct.
But that way my emotions have settled, because I'll be the first to admit I'm way too over emotional. I tell Ernestine all the time, don't push me too far on that. Just let me be for a little while. And I'm going to be okay.
Let me be. Back up. Don't make me smack a bitch.
Hey.
Ernestine give him a two-piece and he'll be all right.
Well, she does. She does. Well, she gives me a verbal two-piece.
She does. That's why I gotta wear this makeup. She whoops my ass some days. I mean, but I fire back. I tell her, look, you hit me again, and I'll, I'm gonna go to my room.
Now, she's the only one who can get away with that, by the way. But she always gets away with it.
Hazel gets away.
Oh, she talks back to me every night, and I just say, "You're okay." I do Jerry Jones on her. I just enable. I just pat her head. I say, "You're okay. You're okay."
See, Skip is dealing with more than one woman. He got his woman, and he got his dog.
All that.
There's 2 bitches in the house.
All that destructive behavior. You can have my Jordans. You can tear them all to pieces.
But
no, she doesn't. She knows that's a golden rule.
Okay.
But here's the thing, though, Skip. A lot of times when emotions are high, logic is low.
Yeah.
I know.
You
Okay.
can't- But Skip, well, help me understand this. You like to play, couch psychologist. What if
So do you. That's why you're on your TV show, man. That's what it means to be an analyst.
is it about OKC and what transpired there that he can't let go?
Remember, Russ got even with him by winning the MVP in averaging a triple-double, and it was like Russ's year. It seemed like Russ kind of owned the year, but then Kevin, in the bigger picture, owned the NBA final.
Right.
Yeah, and plus, Kevin Durant wants to be liked by everybody. He likes to be liked. Similar to LeBron. He likes to be liked. He can't play that villain role because he's defined and validated by everyone else. All right? He hasn't found that mastery within himself. That's something that the so-called black man has to work out on his own. All right? I mean, you can't take it too far because then, you're in danger of stepping into sociopathic territory. But, there has to be a proper balance there between, being a beneficial member of society and being self-validated and self-defined.
Right. So I felt 50-50 to me. At least. I thought Kevin actually won in the end.
He
right?
did.
Okay. It really stung him the way they treated him in Oklahoma City. And so he hasn't gotten it out of his craw yet.
Yeah, because they basically showed him what he always suspected about himself. See, when you're dealing with insecure people, the thing that hurts them the most is when it's confirmed by others what they feel they're missing within themselves. A lot of times insecure people, they try to compensate for what they don't like about themselves by trying to project an image contrary to what they know is the truth. When people on the outside can see through it, and they also notice the same weaknesses that an insecure person notices about themselves, then they get really bitter and downtrodden and depressed. That's what it's about with Durant. He knows that he wasn't a leader. He knows that Westbrook is what he's not, which is emotionally strong. And, that's what hurt him. That's why, he had to leave.
He saw one person on Twitter say something that pushed the wrong button inside him. And he said, I got to set that guy straight. Well, you can't set him straight. You can't win that one.
You can't save him.
You cannot run it, Skip. No man can outrun his path. Because you know what happens? All it does is makes you tired when he catches up with you.
It's more of an identity thing, I think, with Kevin, because
I agree.
OKC is where he began as a man and began his career.
I agree.
And now he's in a place where he feels like people think he just jumped to as opposed to earned.
I agree. Hey, very similar to the Kevin Hart situation. He started out with that with that crazy broad with the annoying voice, and then he went to a Nico, and now he's in even worse trouble. So who knows? It might end poorly for Kevin Durant in Golden State. If it's consistent with the Kevin Hart analogy, we'll find out.
So he feels like he has to prove himself. But the problem is, you can't save the internet. You can't do it. It's a dark and sunken, horrible place. Just don't try and save it.
I agree. That's why I give YouTube hosts two responses. Then you get sent on your way. I tell you, hey, go find another channel. But at the end of the day, Kevin Durant's not going to find peace until he finds it within himself. And I mean, it is what it is. It's just the truth. He has to stop worrying about the past, and he has to be content with what he has now. No, but that's what happens with people who are in love with things. He was in love with being in Oklahoma City and being a part of that franchise. He was in love with it. That's why it hurt him to leave. And it is going to be a process for him to get over it.
We've all fallen victim to it, so it's there's no hypocrisy here, but let it go.
I mean, Seattle, remember now, Kevin Durant started his career in Seattle. Imagine how they felt when the team left and went to OKC.
It's a fair point.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Shannon be sounding like Lil Jon. Yeah.
I agree.
Go ahead, LeBron. You a man. You're not like Kevin Durant.
I agree.
Well, we'll see. Get some sleep and some food in you, Kevin.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it is what it is. All right, so now let's see what the crew at Speak for Yourself has to say about this.
Welcome back. Joined now by Fox NBA analyst Jim Jackson, co-host on The Herd Christine Leahy. Let's move to Kevin Durant. This is a fascinating story who caused a stir this week, tweeting criticism of the Thunder and the coach Billy Donovan in the third person, which prompted speculation that he was trying to use a fake Twitter account to respond to his critics. Durant denied using a fake account, but says he's disappointed in himself for the whole situation, telling USA Today, quote, "It was a joke to me at first, doing it all summer, and it went too deep, and I went too hard, and I haven't slept in 2 days, 2 nights, haven't ate, it's crazy, because I feel so blank, pissed at myself, and I'm mad that I, brought somebody into it." Whitlock, I think this whole situation, and Durant's reaction proves, he is the most fragile superstar in American sports. Do you agree?
Well, that's a stretch. I think that he has the camera on him the hardest, especially right now because he's champion. So it's really hard to evaluate, in order to compare who's the most fragile superstar in all of sports.
Fragile. The man was the MVP of the NBA Finals and had put on a hell of a performance and won a title. Listen, I have joked and have ribbed Kevin Durant for a year about his move to Golden State, came up with the nickname Hug Life or whatever. This here makes me like Kevin Durant. This entire situation. This dude is transparent. He's owned his mistake.
He doesn't have a choice but to be transparent. Simple people are always transparent. I think that it's good that he acknowledged what he did so that he can move past it. But simple people, they don't have an option but to be transparent. Complex people are the ones who are able to, to create certain barriers between themselves and other people. Oftentimes because they don't want to be bothered with having to explain their thoughts. Most complex people, they already know their thoughts are not going to be well received in real time. Most complex people understand that their thoughts will be understood later on down the line when the things that they saw beforehand start to transpire, for the simple people to finally get an understanding of what they were saying the whole time.
He's made himself vulnerable by explaining how much it's hurt him, and he's just 28. I have more sympathy and respect for Kevin Durant. The dude is real. I respect him. He's still.
No, Whitlock, you just trying to have a little contrary take to what people would have assumed that you would say. You don't respect that shit. The man is 28 years old. He's not 18.
He's still the most fragile guy in sports. Mike,
You can answer the question.
is Mike Trout doing that? Is Aaron Rodgers doing that? He's the only.
We don't know. We don't know who else has fake accounts. A lot of these other guys might have fake accounts.
The only superstar.
What does Mike Trout want?
Well, there's about 8 superstars in American sports. Bryce
He's
Harper.
been the MVP and he's won a championship.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean he's not.
He's
fragile.
a competitor.
Well, but
LeBron is the most fragile player in sports, let's be honest. And I will say, if LeBron was doing the same thing, I would knock him for it. The difference is that Durant does it, and then he fully acknowledges, yes, this was my mistake. He talks from his heart. He says he can't eat, he can't sleep.
Well, that's also a tactic that people who are mentally fragile often use. It's akin to playing possum. Like when a possum knows that it's at the mercy of somebody else that plays dead. Durant likes to play this I can't sleep, can't eat role. It's pretty much akin to playing dead like a possum would. It's please leave me alone, don't hurt me, I'm already at your mercy.
And I think there is something to be said about when someone criticizes you and it's something that you're insecure about, it hurts a little more and you want to be defensive. But the exception to that is when it's something you've worked so hard for and you really believe and people keep questioning you, then it gets to you where you want to defend yourself. And listen, he left for a better coach, better teammates, and a lifestyle. Those are things that we would all leave our jobs for.
Agreed.
And he wants to defend himself for it.
Well, if you leave like that, then leave it there. You don't have to criticize where you left, is my thing. But with Kevin Durant, too, The sensitivity part comes from, I think, a part of him that has an insecurity. And then when it's brought out, he wants to defend it.
And as you've already stated before, Jim Jackson, and as I've stated a long time ago, the fact that he was raised in a single-parent household, not just single-parent, but with a domineering matriarchal energy, he may have a hard time just saying fuck it, you know? In life, sometimes you just got to say fuck it. Everybody's not going to like or agree with your decisions. That's okay. That's why you live your life and they live theirs.
And I think what people fail to realize about professional athletes or what we do is that we're human.
Yeah.
And it's hard for us, and I'm going to say us, to close our ears to what we hear. Now, depending on your background, who you are, some people handle it differently. LeBron handles it a little differently than a Carmelo may. As Kevin Durant wants to prove something. Russell Westbrook just doesn't care.
Exactly. That's the point.
And I love Russell for that. But Kevin Durant has showed us over the years that the insecurities within himself come out a lot more when somebody else plays him. Yes, he's fragile. He's fragile from the point that if you want people to really like you and embrace you, okay? So you're trying to give something. Let me give you a prime example. Tiger Woods. His biggest strength was he went on the course, blocked out everything. But once he got into that situation with his wife, he tried to change his personality. He tried to have people like him more. And guess what? That's not who he was. He wanted people to embrace him. And Kevin Durant wants people like LeBron to embrace what you do. But it's not going to happen in today's world all the time.
I appreciate that he's straightforward
and the Tiger Woods situation, that was an event that was created to break him down, break down his altars. Well, I've already went into this. Tiger Woods was a monarch athlete. They broke him down. It was time for him to be broken down psychologically so that he would not break Jack Nicklaus's record for championships, golf majors. And Tiger Woods' father was his handler. I believe that he appeared with Bob Hope at the behest of Eldrick Woods. Bob Hope, for those of you who have researched the subject, was a major monarch handler. All right. Once again, the MK Ultra program is not hearsay. It is a matter of public record. It was subjected to congressional hearings in 1977. But that's a whole other topic.
And honest, whereas LeBron is not. He does all of the subtweeting. And I think motivation comes from different ways for different people. And for Durant, you could see it in the shoes that he made, that he wants to walk on those things that people said about him every night. That is what motivates him to be a great player.
And the Tiger Woods example, I think, is great. Tiger hasn't won anything since.
Yeah, because he was broken down. These monarch athletes, they're like wind-up dolls, man. They're like wind-up toys.
And he's trying to be somebody else.
But again, he folded. Mm-hmm. Kevin Durant has not folded in any way. He won a championship. He's nipping at the heels of LeBron to be the best player in the NBA. He's being transparent about the pay. Look, I read the stuff and I was like, damn, he admitted he ain't ate in 2 days. He's crying and blah, blah. And then I thought, as a 47-year-old or whatever, when I got fired from ESPN and the undefeated taken from me, I laid in bed for an entire day crying and whining and complaining
and eating chocolate ice cream.
And everybody. And then I got up the next day and said F everybody.
Yeah,
That's the point. You should have said that right off the bat.
Next day.
Should have been like, what's his name? Eddie Murphy when he played the barber in Coming to America. Fuck you, and fuck you. Who next?
Day.
It's been 2 days. He's 28. I'm 48 or 47.
But being transparent is this. Here's my thing.
Look at Colin. Colin made a face like, bitch ass nigger.
When he left OKC, why didn't he say why he left? And say my teammates weren't good enough. Don't subtweet it. If you want to be transparent,
he didn't mean to do it from a third person.
If you want to be transparent, you're transparent after you got caught. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Exactly. That's the only thing that he's sorry for is for getting caught.
Okay, now you say it. If you're really honest, you would have said
OJ is in jail right now saying I didn't do it. Most people that get caught still don't admit it. Everybody in jail is innocent.
And I'm not debating with Kevin Durant because, again, he has a...
Well, except for Andy Dufresne. Andy Dufresne said, that he might have been guilty of killing his wife. Not directly, but indirectly.
He has a certain personality. He deals with things a little differently. Listen, I could have had an ego or got hurt. I was on 12 different teams. I've been through my own stuff. The way I handle my situations are a lot different the way Kevin Durant and other people were handled. So I don't criticize him, but if you're going to be transparent, be transparent.
He would have slammed him if right after he left, he said, "Oh, I'm leaving because I don't like my personality."
Exactly. All that stuff people talking about, just name it and drop the name and say why you really left. All that is bullshit. People love to advocate for honesty until the honesty comes. Let me tell you something, man. Honesty is like a sledgehammer to the back of your damn head. All right? That's what it's like. And most people, they never recover from that blow. Okay? Honesty divides and separates people. It does not bring people together. It does not alleviate problems. It might alleviate the weight that you have on your conscience, but that's about it. Okay? But it is important to be honest. But in order to be honest, you have to be strong.
Like my teammates.
He's getting slammed now.
He left.
You know what I mean? But he's getting slammed now.
He left Oklahoma City thinking, I'm going to win, and it's going to solve this thing that I deal with. I'm not LeBron. I can't. And then he went to Golden State and won, and it didn't leave. No. But he thought he left a problem.
No, it left. It's just that he didn't leave Twitter. All right? That's the problem. A lot of these guys create their own problems by subjecting themselves to that portal into the world of trolls known as social media. All right? You have to know when you're above certain things. Once again, you're a producer. They're consumers. Leave them alone. All right? You run a restaurant. You're a master chef. You don't go back and forth with the people who come to your restaurant just because, you know, there wasn't any salt on their table. You go and you speak to the wait staff about that. Okay? That's what you do. You have to create that little bit of a divide sometime.
The problem stayed with him, which is, dude, they won without you, they won with you, you're not that valuable.
He's in the moment right now. Let's see how this looks a year or two from now after his second title and things like that. I respect Kevin Durant.
This is the second time I've heard Kevin Durant saying, I can't eat, I'm in bed, I'm freaking out, over like Twitter stuff.
You see the Caucasian man said, look, where I'm from, we just, look, the only time we really get mad is when the stock drops. Then I might jump out my window, but I mean, other than this shit?
It happens. Look, when Clemson won the national championship after you called them frauds, you laid in bed and told me about it. Dabo Sweetie called you out, and we had to coach you up to come into work the next day.
Next story.
But anyway, that's the story on Kevin Durant and him being a self-inflicted Twitter victim. Hopefully the brother learns from it and grows from it. But that's a part of life. Anyway.